Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos is defending his decision to not allow the paper to endorse either presidential candidate. This as the paper reportedly loses hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Other outlets are now also withholding endorsements. NTD's Melina Weiskup has the report.
Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos is defending his decision to not allow the Washington Post to endorse either presidential candidate, saying that his decision was a principled one and one to try to undo the phenomenon of Americans not trusting media outlets. Bezos said, quote, "What presidential endorsements actually do is create a perception of bias, a perception of non-independence. Ending them is a principled decision, and it's the right one." He also tried to paint a picture of transparency in that op-ed by addressing a meeting that's been under the microscope. This was a meeting between a CEO of Bezos' other company, Blue Origin. That CEO met with Donald Trump on the day that the Washington Post made the decision to not give any endorsements. Now, Bezos said that that meeting had nothing to do with the decision, but when you look at the internal friction, staffers with the Washington Post might believe otherwise.
And this is obviously an effort by Jeff Bezos to curry favor with Donald Trump in the anticipation of his possible victory. This argument that they're making that somehow they want to become above it all on this thing, they've endorsed all kinds of candidates in this election season. They endorsed the Democratic nominee in Maryland. They've endorsed other Democratic nominees. So is it just only in the race that Donald Trump happens to be running in that they've decided not to endorse it?
And it's not just the Washington Post and the LA Times that have decided not to endorse either presidential candidate, but now USA Today has become the latest network, leading their 200 outlets locally not to endorse any candidate in any national race. And then when you look at the historical context of this, back in the 1970s, Republicans were the favored party among media outlets. 2008, Democrats became the favored party among media outlets. But then you look at 2020, and although Democrats are still the favored party, a large number, 44, are choosing not to endorse at all. And now you see that trend continuing and expanding today with big outlets like the Washington Post choosing to withhold from endorsements altogether. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Melina Weiskup, NTD News.
Yet another major newspaper decides not to endorse anyone for president. USA Today will not throw its weight behind a candidate in this year's election. A spokesperson says the paper will focus on providing facts. It wants readers to make up their own minds. The decision also applies to several hundred other publications under the USA Today network. In 2020, the publication backed President Joe Biden. In 2016, it urged readers not to vote for then presidential candidate Trump, but stopped short of endorsing rival Hillary Clinton. It cited serious reservations about Clinton's suitability for the role.